Hello, this is Mr. Rasmussen with Algebra 2 Lesson 105 with some advanced factoring. So if you remember, when we have our trinomial, a lot of times we can factor it into our two binomials. And when you add the last two numbers, when you multiply the last two numbers, you have to equal this one. And then when you add the last two numbers, it has to equal this middle term. Well, in this case, it's a little different because the first term is not just 1, it's a 6. So that changes things. However, there's a different method here that we use to be able to factor this into the two binomials. Okay, so our first step here is to take our last term and then the number in the first term and multiplies those together. So when we do this, 6 times negative 2 is negative 12. And then we're going to take negative 12 and we're going to find two numbers multiplied together that give us negative 12, but when added, give us a positive 1. So in this case, if we multiply negative 3 and 4, that gives us a negative 12, but when we add those together, it gives us a positive 1. So then what we're going to do is we're going to take those two numbers and we're going to substitute them, and we're going to put x values here and then substitute them in for x, because 4x minus 3x is the same as 1x. So 6x squared minus 3x plus 4x minus 2. And once we substitute that in there, actually, I'm going to put it, let's see here, change this around a little bit. I'm going to put the, I'll put the 4 first. Plus 4 x minus 3x. There we go. Okay. All right, so I put those in there. And then my next step here is to factor out. I'm gonna look at just these first two terms, okay? And I'm gonna look at just the second two. So in the first, which I had to switch those. In the first two, we can factor out an x, and we can also factor out a 2. All right, so if I take a 2x out, I'm left with 3x here, and here I'm left with plus 2. Okay, so put these two in there. All right, and then if I look at the second two, I can not really anything come out, but I take out a negative 1, make it positive. So I'm left with 3x plus 2, and maybe a heads up on why to do that is because that would line up really well with that. Okay, then because the 2x is connected to all of this by multiplication, and the negative 1 is connected to all of this by multiplication, and the parentheses are the same, I can then connect the 2x minus 1 together in parentheses, and then the 3x plus 2, and it shows connected by multiplication, both these multiplied by that. And that's my, my factoring from this to two binomials. Okay, let's look at a second one here. And this is, haven't done factoring for a while, and this being advanced is a little different. Okay, we're going to take our first number and our last and multiply those together and get negative 30. And then we want two numbers when multiplied together give us negative 30. When added together give us negative 7. So if I look at my book there, if I get negative 10 and 3, then that satisfies that. So let's write that out as x values. So 2x squared minus 10x, it looks like maybe you always put the larger number first to help yourself out, plus 3x minus 15. Now we can do that because if you add those together, it's the same as negative 7x. Okay, so let's group these now. In my first grouping here, I can take out a 2 and I can take out an x. So that leaves me with an x here and leaves me with negative 5 there. In the second groupings here, I want this to line up. So it looks like I can take out a 3. So plus 3, I'm left with x minus 5. There we go. And so group them together. The first two and then the parentheses. I have to put a parenthesis around these because it's not just 3 multiplied by the x minus 5, it's both of those. All right, and there is my factoring for example number 2. All right, example number 3 is going to do the same thing, except that it says factor to find solutions. This is just factoring. To find the solutions means to actually take it a step further and find out what the answers are. Okay, so in this first one, I need to put it in, first of all, I need to get it all on the same side of the equal sign. So I'm going to add the 6x squared to both sides. So 6x squared minus 5x minus 6 now equals 0. All right, my first and last give me negative 36. And then I need to add those two numbers multiplied together, give negative 36. When added, give me negative 5. Okay, so that looks like a negative 9 and a positive 4. Okay, so I can put that in there. I'm going to get, I'll do it over here, 6x squared minus 9x plus 4x minus 6 equals 0. All right, let's see about my groupings. In the first one here, looks like I can take out a 3 and an x. I'm left here with 2x and then 3. In the second part there, let's see, I can take out, second part there, looks like I can take out a 2. So plus 2, that leaves me 2x and then minus 3. Okay, so now I can, once again, like I was doing before, 3x plus 2 parentheses 2x minus 3. You can do that because the two parentheses are the same and they're all in these connected by multiplication. All right, then to actually find the answers, I'm going to write these out separately as equal to 0. So 3x plus 2 equals 0 and 2x minus 3 equals 0. And then I'm going to solve for that. So subtract 2 from both sides and then divide by 3, divide by 3. Looks like my one answer is negative 2/3 plus 3, divide by 2, divide by 2. Looks like my other answer is a positive 3/2. All right, and you can see that in the book there, how to solve. Okay, go and work through the 2 practice problems yourself and then check your work with my work. It does say solve by factoring, so we're going to work all the way through this till we get answers, not just the factoring. Okay, this one just needs to be put in descending order. So 2x squared first, then my minus 5x, and then no x term. All right, first and my last 2 and negative 12 gives me a negative 24. I need two numbers multiplied together. When give me negative 24, when added, give me a negative 5. So looks like negative 8 and a 3. All right, then plug that back in. 2x squared minus 8x plus 3x minus 12 equals 0. I put the larger number first. All right, and this first one here looks like I can take out a 2 and an x. That leaves me x minus 4. And the second part here looks like I can take out a 3. Leaves me x minus 4. Then I can rewrite that. Okay, 2x plus 3, parentheses, and then x minus 4. And then let's solve that. So first one equal to 0. Subtract a 3 from both sides. Divide by 2, divide by 2. Looks like negative 3/2 is my answer for that one. Then plus 4, x equals 4 for the second part. Okay, let's look at the last one here. I need to move this guy over, so I'm going to add 3x squared to both sides. So 3x squared minus 7x minus 6 equals 0. My 3 times my 6 is negative 18. I need two numbers multiplied together, give me negative 18. When added, give me negative 7. Okay, that looks like a negative 9 and a 2. So let's put that in there instead of that. X squared minus 9x plus 2x minus 6 equals 0. All right, in this first one here, looks like I take a 3 and an x out. That leaves me x minus 3. In this one here, looks like I take a plus 2 out. That leaves me x minus 3. All right, let's write those together. 3x plus 2, and then x minus 3. And all right, then we separate those out, make them both equal to 0. Right, so subtract 2, cancels there, divide by 3, divide by 3. Looks like my first answer is negative 2/3. The second one, add 3 to both sides. Looks like the answer is 3. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. If not, feel free to reach out and I'll give you some help there. Have a great day.